Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful episode of 15 Minutes of Fame, where we bring industry professionals to your home where they share their journeys of their ups and downs in their career. Today's guest is not only a good friend of mine, but a friend of the dance community, Mr. Jamel Gaines of Creative Outlet in Brooklyn, New York. Welcome to the show. I
Thank you. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited. You are just such an amazing artist, friend, everything. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking your time out of your busy schedule to share, not only with me, but within the community about your adventure. So thank you.
Thank you, Dawn. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure. I've known you for a very, very long time. We've danced together. We grew up together. You're one of my good friends. You're amazing. You're an amazing mom. You're an amazing artist. And you're an amazing performer. So I just want to thank you. And you're an amazing mentor to many young people in the South Florida region. So
Thank you.
thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure and an honor. And I mean that.
Thank you so much. Um, and I want to add that because of the COVID and the virtual training, guess what? We're not only limiting ourselves to just the South or to the North, we're now international. I have students in the UK now, so I don't want to
Right,
limit us. We're
right,
all over. Let me tell you,
right.
it was a bad
Yes,
thing, but it's opened up so many different
right.
areas for us as artists to expand.
Yes,
So
yes.
yes. So yes, dance is how we met. So let's just talk about dance. Um, Formative years, formative training. How did you get started?
I started dancing through a junior high, elementary school called PS 123 in Queens, and I started under the direction of Diane Brown there, where she had all the kids dancing. She had all the kids dancing, the boys and the girls. They were involved in all of her plays and the Glee Club and music and dance. And Miss Brown took us to see the original Wiz. We got to see Grease. I got to see Pearly. I got to see tons and tons of Broadway shows. So I really started dancing through arts and education. And then from Miss Diane Brown, her daughter Adrian Brown had a dance studio, and then they invited me over and really mentored me. They were the ones that really took me under their wing and said, "Hey, this is how this works." And not only from a dancer perspective, but also just refinement and how to sit up straight and how to talk and how to articulate and how to carry yourself and the etiquette. So really, that was the first start of being introduced into the performing and cultural arts through arts and education.
Well, shout out to Miss Brown. And I'm sure
Yes.
that, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure that not only she touched your life, but so many others. So thank
Yes.
you, Miss Brown, for that.
Yes. Yes.
Teachers are needed.
Yes.
Teachers are needed.
Yes, they are. Yes.
Okay, so now let's segue. I didn't work with Miss Brown. I worked with Bernie Johnson. So how'd you get there? Go.
So then what happened
Right,
was
what happened?
um, from Ms. Brown, from Adrian Brown. Adrian had a studio with a partner, and we have wonderful teachers there, Buster Grant, Marcella Jones, and amazing artists there teaching with Adrian at her studio. I saw you guys perform at an outdoor festival. You were in it, and Jardis was in it, and Edgar was in it, and Chucky was in it, and Toria was in it, and Amy was in it, and tons of great people were in that piece. And I was like, wow, who are these teenagers? They look amazing. I want to dance also with them. And then a couple of my teachers at Adrian were also connected with the Bernice Johnson studio. And I had come to Bernice Johnson. I asked her if I could be on scholarship at her studio. And she was like, well, I can't put you on scholarship, young man, but you can do a working scholarship, young man, where
Yes.
you can help clean the studio and take out the garbage and wipe the mirrors down and so forth. And we're going to put you in our junior pro. This is the class that we're going to put you in. And I was so honored to be there and help continue my training at the Bernice Johnson Cultural Center. And I was there through my high school years.
Yes, and you were such a hard worker. I remember you. I mean, you came in and in the dance world, it can be cliquish a little bit. Who's that guy? Who's the new girl?
Right. Yeah.
But you came in with your open spirit and your heart, and you were just so welcoming and happy to be there that we embraced you and you became part of the family.
Yes,
And, you
yes,
still are part of the BJ group.
yes,
Yes.
yes. Continuum, the legacy,
So
the
you said
legacy.
the continuing the legacy.
That's
Exactly.
it. Yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
So now,
Bernice Johnson. Mhm.
yeah,
I think that one of the things that I really remember was the intensity of the training and the fact that she exposed us to working professionals in the industry. And they were on Broadway during the day. I
yeah,
mean, they were on Broadway during the night, and then they'd come and rehearse us, and then they'd run to their Broadway shows or television or film or concert stage. So she really, really had that connection. And she had the connection because those working professionals, she groomed and trained them as well. So it was a legacy that was definitely passed on. So I'm really happy, I'm honored, and it's a privilege to come from that legacy and be a part of it, and to dance and share the stage with amazing artists like you and also the artists that I named earlier.
yeah. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
So you graduate from high school, you have a decision to make. What do I do with my life? Do I
Yeah.
audition? Do I go to college? What did you choose to do and why?
I went to I got into City College. I was supposed to go to City College in Harlem.
Mhm.
And a friend of mine, Alan Barnes, who's an amazing artist in his own right, we were doing a project with Kevin Hunt from Bernice Johnson. And yes, the amazing Kevin Hunt.
I did that. Yes.
Yes, we
Wonderful.
were apprenticing with Kevin Hunt and his company called Kinetic Energy. And then Alan was doing a project that August at Purchase University. And he invited me along. He goes, "Hey, Jamel, I'm working with this group. We're doing a residency at this college at Purchase. You know, would you like to come?" A couple of us had gone up to be invited with him that weekend.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, this is an amazing school.
Right.
So I decided that I would take off the first 6 months from college and that I would spend my time focusing and trying to get into Purchase University. So Purchase University, I auditioned in November and I got in and I went into the university in January 1984. And it was important for me. There was no decision for me whether I was going to start professionally or go to. It was always in my plan to go to college.
Okay.
So, Purchase is where I went, and I also studied business while I was at Purchase as well. I graduated from Bayside High School,
Mhm.
where I was a business major at Bayside High School. So it was almost a natural fit for me to go to college and do cultural and performing arts, and then also to incorporate business into it as well. It just felt like a natural fit for me.
Sure. So let me just ask you, did you go to the director of Purchase Dance Department, like you went to Bernice Johnson and said, "Hey, I'd like a scholarship"? And they said, "Uh, so what happened with that?"
Well, I did go to the director and ask if I could do an early audition.
Oh, I knew something. I knew you did something.
I had something going on. So I did go to, I called the college and I said, "Do you guys have an audition to go into January?" And, honestly, typically they don't let people in January.
Mhm.
And I think it was like four of us. I think it was like four of us that auditioned. And I think it was like three boys and one guy. I mean, three boys and a female. And we all got in, and we went in January. When I went in January, actually, I was a studier that I learned from Adrian and BJ's crew and all the teachers. So I received the Harry Belafonte scholarship when I got to Purchase, and I
Let
received
me stop you there. I have a lot of students who watch the show, so they might not be familiar with who Harry Belafonte is and what that scholarship is. Can you take a moment and just explain what that is, please?
Sure. Harry Belafonte is an amazing actor. He's a producer. He has a scholarship fund at Purchase University. His daughter from what I understand, was at the university as well. He's a singer. He's from the Caribbean. He's done major movies. He's done the best movies all over the world. He's a noted actor, producer, writer, songwriter, singer, performer. A lot of calypso Caribbean music as well. So they were looking for someone of color to give this scholarship to. And because if class started at 10:30, at about 9:15, 9:30, I was in the studio on the floor stretching, preparing for a 10:30 class.
Yeah.
And let's say if the teachers came in at like 10 to go over their class or the structure of what they were going to do, here you have me, on the side stretching and trying to get my splits and sitting in fourth position and trying to do my port de bras and stretch my feet and get my splits and stuff. So and not only just for one class, it was just something that I always did. So I think that probably was one of the key factors, is that they saw here's this young guy wanting to be better and working on his own facility in his own body without us telling them to go into the studio to do this. And I was always a hard worker, and I learned from Adrian's crew and the Bernice crew and all my teachers there. So I was always a hard worker. And, I thought people went to college to get an education and a degree and to be the best. So that was kind of like the standard that was set.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just doing, to me, what felt natural.
Right. So on that merit alone, you just coming in, doing that extra bit, they offered you a full scholarship. Now, that's
Full
amazing.
scholarship. It was
That's
a full
amazing.
scholarship. Yeah.
So congratulations to that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you took 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. What happened? How long did it take you to get out of school?
Actually, I was lucky because remember, I took off that first 6 months.
Yes.
I caught up to my class. So I did a 4-year program in 3.5 years.
Work.
I did a 4-year program in 3.5 years. My first semester going in, a lot of times you have to have the first, because I didn't do September to January.
Yes.
That's the first course. And the second course is offered the next semester.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, I don't want to just hang around.
Right.
Can you give me something in replacement so that I don't have to go back and take it later? So I was already thinking ahead.
Yes.
So that was key. And if I probably didn't do that the first semester, I probably would have had to graduate. I probably would have had to stay an extra 6 months.
So many times, yeah, you've taken the initiative in your life. Where did you learn that? Who gave you, who instilled that in you?
I think my parents.
Okay.
I think my parents, my mom and dad, and my teachers as well. I'm the oldest of 6.
Oh.
So I was always taught that there's responsibility. I was always used as an example.
Yes.
And my parents made me work on my off days, and they sent us to church on Sundays. And from that dance and artistic training, you start at 9 in the morning and you go to 9, 10 at night.
Yeah.
And after school, you go and do your homework at the library or at school, and then you got to go to the studio and do classes and so forth then as well. So I think that kind of work ethic and that foundation that was laid from the cultural and performing arts, and my parents, my dad did construction. My mom is the love bug who gave us the belief that we could do anything that we wanted if we worked hard. Mm-hmm. Right, my mom is amazing. Mm-hmm. Right. So I think that those lessons that were planted at a very early age kind of was my foundation I used as a kind of like as a replica as I was moving through as life and trying to figure it out. So I think that's the base that I hope I can take in all my work of areas of work in my life.
Wonderful. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Moving on, Jamel, you graduated from college, 3.5 years. Now, what do I do? Do I get a job? Do I audition? keep this
right,
going? Am I good enough? What happened?
right, right. Well, again, because of relationships, Aaron Duggar, who's one of your teachers as well. Exactly, exactly. Aaron Duggar and Crystal Hall.
You gonna make me pass? What?
Can you
Go
start? I
ahead.
mean, where do you go from here?
God,
Um,
you have no idea the legacy. It's just
yeah,
crazy,
it's crazy. Yeah, yeah.
amazing.
So again, these are relationship people and legacy people. Aaron and Crystal taught at my local studio, Adrian's. They taught me at Adrian, so I was kind of always following the Jubilation family. Kevin Ayega Jeff, who was one of my mentors. I was always following the company, and I was always connected to the company
Okay, okay.
via Aaron and Crystal. And so while I was at Purchase, I came home on the weekend and I saw concerts and so forth. My senior project, you have
Okay,
to do.
wait, I gotta ask you again with the initiative. After watching the show, did you stalk Aiega and like go to the stage door with the playbill? It was like, "Excuse me, Mr. Aiega, Jeff." Tell us about that. How was your first
No,
meeting with him?
no. I didn't have to do that. The relationship was there already.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but I did stalk him another way. So so I'll go back to the stalking another way. So so Kevin did. I asked if I could use his piece Gula Matari. The music is by Quincy Jones, and that was my senior project. So that was my way of working with. That was my way of working into the um, the company. It wasn't strategic. I wasn't strategic then. It
Mhm,
wasn't a strategy. But
mhm.
my senior year, May of that year, I performed a piece with the. It's an ensemble piece,
Yes.
and I performed that piece. There was a lot of partnering in it, so I knew that I was a good partner and my big strong muscles, and I could take the
Mhm.
girl and pull up here and drop her hair and do.
Right.
So I did that piece, and that was kind of like my. And then I did say, hey, can I come and take company class?
That's
Can I
right.
take
That's
company
right.
class? Can I hang out with you guys? And I did. And I did. We actually that summer when I graduated, I went to Purchase went to Hong Kong. It was our first
Oh,
international tour, and I was chosen to go to Hong Kong and Macau. Macau is a little island off the coast of China. And I went to Hong Kong and I went into Macau and I stopped into China as well.
mhm,
And then after that, I started rehearsing with Jubilation Dance Company. I started as an apprentice.
mhm.
Their first international tour. I did go on the first. I was not casted to go on the international tour, and
Okay.
I was like, "Can I please go on the tour?" I
Right.
was like, "Can I please go on the tour?" And I went on the tour as an apprentice.
Yes.
I went on the first international tour as an apprentice, and I went, and it was great. And 35 years later, I still work closely with him and the organization, and we have an artistic bond that is everlasting, and that's continuing from Adrian to BJ to Jubilation to Creative Outlet, and now also through the Deeply Rooted family. So it's a continuous. Danny G, who runs Summer Stage
I mean, I don't
in
know her, but I know of her.
yeah. She runs Summer Stage here in New York. She's a curator and for dance, and she goes, "How long did you dance with Jubilation?" And I said, "I'm still dancing with Jubilation," and
Right.
she just started laughing and everything. So she was like, "Okay." So yeah, so
Let's just give her a shout out. I saw you on her podcast. Danny G, if you guys have a moment, check out her podcast, right? DANNIGEE, I think. Awesome for
yep,
dancers
yes, she's
and all
amazing.
artists. I shouldn't limit it to dancers.
She's amazing. Yep. Mhm.
Okay, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
So yeah,
This is
so
like a
so
family. This is like just us talking. This
it's
is awesome.
family. Yeah. Jubilation was a really amazing experience for me, Dorn, because actually, I think Purchase gave me a wonderful foundation,
Mhm.
but I think that I was a little disconnected from the culture and the African culture and the spirited culture of the dance that was in the community. And
Yes.
I think that they gave me a great foundation with the fundamentals and the infrastructure and alignment and
Mhm.
technical things and so forth. But I
Yeah.
think being there, I kind of lost a little sight of, no fault to them, but I kind of lost a little sight to really being connected to the community and what was going on in the dance world community. And so after purchase, I hadn't really sure what I was going to do actually for a minute. And then I think when I started with Jubilation, it really, as an adult now and
Mhm.
apprenticing with them, it helped shape and mold me. And I was really connected, and I got connected again to the foundation where it all started from.
Wonderful. I love it all.
Yeah,
You learn
thank you.
a whole nother part of dance through
Yes,
jubilation.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
Okay. And that's a whole nother topic that you and I know
yes,
we could go into for an hour. Just about
yeah,
how he's so engaging and
yes.
he's a genius, let's just
He's
say.
he's brilliant.
And I wanted to ask, like, what did you think he saw in you? Because if he's a genius, right? What did he see in you that made him say, I think he's worthy, or I think it's worth my time to feed into him? And do you use the same technique with finding your young artists?
Yeah, I think that Kevin gave me a space, and that I
All
was
the
I had.
flowers are yes, universe. Yes.
Kevin had given me the space, and he created the platform, and it was up to me to show up and be present in the foundation that he laid. I would say that's
Mhm.
yeah, that's really what he did, is that he provided a space, and then it was a level, a plateau of the space. So it wasn't just the rehearsal time and you could just come in. You had to show up, be present, and rise to the occasion.
Yes.
And you had to be present, you had to be determined, you had to say, I also want to be here.
Yes.
Because if you didn't help come up and set the standard to what he and the other company members were setting, it really didn't work out for you.
Mm.
And you would know that because the standard was very, very high.
Ooh.
So I think because I was a mover, I was always a mover. I was always strong. I was always athletic. I could always, I was a great partner. I could pick up quick.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I had a lot of work to do on physical work. I
Okay.
had a lot of work to do on continuing my technical growth, and becoming a professional. And that's what really he helped shape. And he and the company members that
Yeah.
I danced with,
Yeah.
they were really stellar artists.
Yeah.
So if you were going to be on stage with Quiera, if you were going to be on stage with Darius, if you're going to be on stage with Aaron and Crystal and
Come
Denise and Mustafa, and
on.
you were going to be on the stage with Nanette, and you were going to
Ah,
be on stage with and you were
Nanette
going to be on
knows
stage with
we love you. Okay.
you're going to be on stage with Elena Anderson, you're going to be on stage with Leonora and Sharice, you're going to be on stage with Obadiah Wright.
Oh, yes.
You're
Yeah.
going to be on stage with these people. There was you had to bring, I mean, these artists were really stellar athletes, and he helped set the tone for that.
Yeah.
And I'm forever grateful for the opportunity, for the space,
Mhm.
for the artistry and the continuum of the legacy that is still being passed down.
Now he actually moved from Jubilation to Deeply Rooted, and he's
Yes,
now in Chicago, which left
yes.
you alone, right? What am I gonna do? My dance dad is gone. So what happens next?
Well, it's interesting because when he left, um, I called people together. I was like, okay, what do we do? We have all this energy.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, during the jubilation days, I have to bring up a sad part of that at the end of it, because of AIDS. I would say
Oh,
that because of the AIDS crisis, we lost a lot of amazing artists as well.
mhm.
We lost a lot of our teachers. We lost a lot of performers. We lost a lot of choreographers, designers, musicians, painters, artists. We lost them. And I think that a lot of companies and a lot of people were trying to figure out what's next and then how do we transition from here and how do we take the brilliance of all those people and then now kind of build something or bring people together. And that's basically what happened. It was really like a rehearsal process. It's like, yo, Kevin had rehearsal, on a Thursday night, a Friday night, a Saturday. And, I mean, either we can sit at home and wait for auditions from backstage, or we can go in the studio and just be creative and let's have class and let's have a rehearsal process. Let's just move, let's move. And that's really was kind of like the base of how Creative Outlet started, was really from the continuum of the teaching from Jubilation and Purchase and BJ's and Adrian's and on in Ailey, the Ailey school and so forth. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so now we're in Brooklyn. What are we going to do?
Right.
So it was not really in the beginning a vision board around a company and we're going to do this and these are the types of works that we're going to set and so forth. It kind of happened through an organic process of bringing friends of mine together, such as Bahia, Melissa Vaughn, Jackette, Peter Moore, Luke High Worrell, Kevin Joseph, who are co-founders in the organization as well. And these are all founding members of the organization, and also have worked closely with Kevin Jeff at the end of Jubilation, where he was doing a lot of community work. And so when he left, it was like almost like, okay, what do we do now? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like how it started. And actually, Kevin recommended me to a job at St. Paul's Community Baptist Church under the tutelage at that time of the Reverend Dr. Johnny Ray Youngblood, who's also one of my mentors. And I choreographed Black Nativity. They asked him to choreograph it, and for some reason he wasn't able to, and he passed it on to me. And that's how I really got connected to the church 25 years ago. Wow. And then I was teaching at Phil's Academy that my sister and one of her good friends, Abena, asked me to come in and teach at the school. I think this is one of those, I was knocking on the door to say, hey, can I teach at your school? Right. Can I teach? So through Arlene and Abena and me knocking on the door. So you got the church, you got the school, you got us in rehearsal. So we kind of had all of these different things going on, and we're trying to figure out like, what's next? How do we do this? What's the platform? What are we doing? Mm-hmm. So, and things just kind of like slowly evolving from there.
I'm so proud of you. Just listening to your story, which is not even halfway done yet. This is just the beginning, because this was like 22 years ago. Is this almost
20
like,
over 25? Over 25
years ago. That's,
yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so before we even go there, I just want to recap for anyone who's just coming in. We're speaking with Jamel Gaines of Creative Outlet in Brooklyn, New York. We're going through his time frame of his career. So far, latecomers, we've learned that he was an initiator at birth. He had Miss what's her Adrian
Brown.
Diane
Brown.
Bernice Johnson. He went to Purchase, and then he studied under Iega Jeff. And now we're talking about the creation or the birth of Creative Outlet, which was spawned 25 years ago in the making. Wow.
I was an Ailey student as well.
Oh,
we got to give them credit. Yeah.
Ailey too, no doubt. Look, shout out Ailey.
There we go, Ailey. Yep.
Okay. So, it's a lot, Jamel. All right, so you ready? So now let's talk about your school. I want to talk about your process in choreographing and how you select certain individuals to fulfill your artistic vision.
Okay. So first question you asked me about was the school.
Yep, that's where we left off.
Yeah, the school actually started with the two organizations that I just said, where at Phil's Academy, where I was teaching at Phil's. Okay. And then at the church, because I was doing Black Nativity at the church, which had a lot of community members and kids and adults and non-dancers and just the folks in the congregation.
Okay.
So it was like the both kind of happened simultaneous at the same time. So being at Phil's Academy and being at the church, and people were asking me, hey, do you have a school? Do you teach anywhere else? Do you have this? Da, da, da. How can I take more classes outside of you teaching at
Right.
Phil's Academy in the church?
Mhm.
So then that's how the school came about, because of those two organizations. Um, Kevin and Lakai, I think, well, Lakai started first at Phil's Academy with me, and Lakai was also the first Joseph as well.
Okay, so for the audience,
Lakai Worrell, I'm gonna go, yep, let me go back. Lakai Worrell and Kevin Joseph were co-founders of Creative Outlet, and now they have their own organization called
okay,
Pure Elements.
okay.
They branched out and they started their own organization called Pure Elements, and they're doing great work as well. Is that good? Yep, we're giving
Yeah,
them shout out. They're
energy.
doing great work. So yeah, so from that, that's really how the school started. The school started, and then we had to do weekend classes, and we had
Okay,
to find a place.
okay, okay. I hear what you're saying. So we got to school. Now let's talk about choreography and how you started getting mature young adults to now mold them. And let's talk about that.
Well, um, you know, I think that it was like one of my first commissions outside of choreographing at those two organizations was I got invited to do a piece um, in Jamaica, West Indies,
Oh,
from the American consulate in Jamaica, West Indies. And Bahia and I went. Bahia is my family member. Um, Bahia and I went, and I choreographed this piece called Cutting Edge, which was about thinking outside the box. Um, I think for me that choreographing and developing and choosing works is also connected to the relationships and the people that I'm around. So I was around amazing, fabulous artists. So
right.
you come up with ideas, and different people will spark different ideas around choreography, different body types and energies. If you're around a hip hop dancer who is really maybe not that technically classically trained,
Mhm.
but they're great physical movers, and you can, it's almost like you can see like the sculpting of who they are. So it's just amazing, you know. So that's part of it. So the artists that I choreograph with are really an integral part of the choreography, sometimes the concept. I see it as not just my choreography, but I see it as a collaboration also with the artists that I work with.
Okay. So who are these wonderful people that you had the pleasure of?
These two amazing artists, Victor Reddick. Victor is a original kid from our school. He was an original kid in our school. He actually is one of the artists that came from the church.
Oh,
Victor is an international artist. He's guest artist in Italy. He's done amazing, amazing. Victor is one of those artists that you definitely want to have in the room when you're creating, because he's a think outside the box type of a person, and he's amazing. He's really, really is truly. I'm really blessed to have such a long. We still work together now.
Victor.
Over
He's
Victor's amazing, and he's an amazing coach as well. Um, Taylor Cyrus. Taylor is a gifted. Look at those gorgeous legs, as you see,
like,
and she's a gorgeous woman as well.
mhm.
Taylor Cyrus is a gifted artist. Actually, Taylor is an interesting artist. Taylor's been doing Broadway and television and film and commercial work. Taylor is the first artist that I actually met who sent me a videotape of herself, and I hired her just from the video.
Right.
I was looking for someone to do a project in Texas, and they needed the name and everything like the next day. And I called a friend of mine, Nathan Trice, and I said, Nathan, I need a girl. And I called Taylor. I said, Taylor, send me a video. She sent me the video. I was like, okay, can you
Right.
go to Texas
Shout
with me? I hadn't even met her yet. So
out.
Taylor's an amazing artist.
Shout
This
out.
is this here is um, um, Khadijah Shari. She is an amazing, amazing artist. Khadijah is again, triple threat. She's doing dance, she's doing commercial work, she does modeling and print work and spokesperson. She's worked with Rihanna. She's had a long relationship with Rihanna's people. She's worked with all of everybody, Beyonce. She's worked with everybody. Amazing.
Oh,
She's
wow.
one of our original too.
Woo!
This here is, yeah, this is amazing shot. Both shots, this shot and the last shot, the photographer is Rachel Neville, amazing artist.
Yes,
And Rachel's shooting dance theater, Ailey. She's shooting all the big companies here in New York. That's Victor, and that's Nicole DeWeaver. Nicole DeWeaver was one of the featured artists in the Broadway show Fela.
Oh, okay.
She was one of the original Fela. She was featured, and actually, she's a graduate of NYU. This amazing artist is Kevin Tate.
Yes,
Kevin Tate is another phenomenal artist. Kevin is, he was in Lion King before the pandemic hit. Kevin is a graduate of North Carolina School of the Arts. Again, Kevin is doing television, film, music. Kevin also is a vocalist. Kevin is amazing. He's a choreographer. So, you know, like what Bernice Johnson did, our artists are trained to do many, many different things. So dance is just one part of the things that they do.
Oh, this is my favorite dance right here.
This piece is entitled Forces.
Yeah.
And this piece, actually, we get requests for this a lot of times. So thank you. This piece was choreographed in May of 2006.
Okay, let's give a shout out to these arabesques. Who's this?
That's Corey.
Okay.
Corey's that's Ryan.
Oh, okay.
That's Kevin Hunt.
Okay.
Now
these two both were on So You Think You Can Dance, right?
Yes, they were on both. So You Think You Can Dance. Corey was an original Fela. Ryan was on So You Think You Can Dance, attended Purchase University. Kevin was, both of them were finalists on So You Think You Can Dance. Kevin is a choreographer. Kevin is a DJ and a music producer as well. I think so it's really amazing.
You just do great work, Jamel.
Thank you. We have a good team. I have to give a shout out to our teacher, Shirley Black Brown. And Shirley Black Brown is our rehearsal director, our associate director, one of our mentors. And she's my teacher. She's their teacher. She has really helped shape the artists and taught the artists. She has been our mother, artistic, cultural elder in the organization. And we are because of her.
I'm
give that credit to her.
But I watched her all the time. I mean, you could learn just by watching her walk into the room. By her just walking into the room, that presence, she is just
amazing.
We love you, Shirley. I'm about to cry.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
I always call every now and then and go, you know, I'm your favorite.
This is Nicole DeWeaver. That's Nicole DeWeaver, and that's Rachel Neville shot again.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. Oh, okay. And then voila. Wow. What's this?
This is a last year, Danny G commissioned me to do a piece at part of Summer Stage. We were supposed to do a whole evening of work, but because of COVID-19, the presentation got canceled. So this is our Juneteenth presentation that we did virtual. So we did this virtual online.
See. All right. We do have a small clipping of that. If you will, we can just take a moment. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Okay, but I will try to give the audience an idea of what it was like.
Remember me as I am. This is how I come to you, through the clawing pus of death. From a time of rebellion on crags above the river, after the night for war reached harbor, death became the prison house of the soul. Cartloads of corpses buried beneath the breast of the beach sand, birds swooped downward from a sky limned in darkness, gliding over layers of siltstone, hungry for flesh.
Nice. Yes. Beautiful. Let's see if I can fast forward just one more, okay, Jamel? See if I can get there. Oh, that was it. And then we have, I did play a little bit. And then you did a big performance. Very nice. I mean, I can't play the whole thing because YouTube will get rid of me. They will. That was amazing work. I mean, I just miss New York. I miss you. I just
Thank you, baby.
every time I like try to connect with you, I just feel I connect. I just miss it. The dancing and it's different where I am. So I just love to just chime into your energy. So yeah.
Thank you.
So now, what are you? That was for Juneteenth, right? You guys are working on something for Earth Day.
Earth Day, yes.
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 Tell us about
Earth Day, we are doing a artistic and cultural sharing with dance, theater, spoken word, music. Our kids will talk about the earth, the importance of recycling, the importance of taking care of the forest, the importance of just recognizing the earth that we live in. And we're doing that with live music from the Brooklyn Music School. We're having poets come. We're having drummers. Talu Green will be drumming with the African Drum Ensemble. We will have some special guests, some special speakers. So we will have a day of art and cultural celebration for Earth Day on Saturday, April 24th from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Come out and join us.
Now, on the bottom, if you can read it, it says to contact, that says creativeoutlet.org.
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful flyer.
Thank you.
Again, I'm so proud of you. And I hope that after you record it and share it, you'll come back on the show and you'll
Definitely.
get a snippet of it so we can see and share with that.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yes.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
So once again, you're amazing. I love you so much. Final words of wisdom to share, please.
First of all, I love you and I thank you for having me and sharing. And I thank you for me seeing you on stage and your crew over 40 years ago. I saw you guys on stage and that totally changed my life and it had a huge impact on my life. So I bow down to you, I salute you, and I say thank you because you were in your truth. You were in your truth and you were in the legacy that we're talking about now. Mm-hmm. And now 40 years later, because of that and because of all the relationships that we just talked about, I feel like it's only my duty, my spiritual duty to, it's part of my life force to continue that legacy. And I actually feel sick. I feel that I'm not well when I'm not doing what the standard and when I'm not doing that spiritual, cultural, holistic work that's art and culture empowerment for people of color and all people, that how the arts is used as a life force of holistic living through art and culture empowerment, spiritual guidance.
Well said.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
Again, Jamel Gaines, Creative Outlet. Please follow him, creativeoutlet.org. He's amazing and we love you. Thank you so much.